Today's topic, what I wanted to talk about is wealth. And not just wealth. I want to talk about my personal journey in how I look at wealth. This is geared towards the Christian. I want to have this conversation with the Christians that I know that are out there when it comes to wealth and finances. This, when I first became a Christian, was a very difficult subject for me to broach, to look at. It was like an internal sort of thing I struggled with. To some tendency, I still do. Basically, what it was for me was that I wanted to somehow figure out what wealth actually is, and if you're allowed to make a lot of money as a Christian. And I know the simple answer is yes, you are. However, because we're Christians, we're meant to steward finances, and I don't struggle with that part. However, there was a sort of this struggle I had because I was in sales. I struggled with finances. And so I didn't want to sell something to somebody that, didn't need it. Obviously, I didn't want to be the prototypical, and I use air quotes and nothing against them, sleazy car salesman, right? I didn't want to be that person. But in sales, I've never had a sales job, right? I always just worked for, I was in the military oil field, and then, I became a welder. So I was never really in typical sales. Now, the thing that changed for me, and I got to give a shout out, and I read this book, and I highly recommend everyone, if you can, read this book. It's called Evangelpreneur by Josh Tolley. This book changed the way I looked at finances as a whole. And quite honestly, I have to say, ever since reading this book, and I got it on audiobook as well, and then the physical copy, after reading this book, it changed my whole outlook on finances and how it's meant to be stewarded when you're a Christian. I do want to leave you with a verse because this is something that's very important. And this is from Luke chapter 12, 13 to 20. I am not trying to take things out of context. If you guys want to comment down below what you think that this verse means. But when I read this verse last week, I'm on the reading plan, obviously, it really hit me. And it really brought into focus exactly what I should be focusing on. The parable of the rich fool. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." And he told them a parable, saying, "The land of a rich man produced plentiful. And he thought to himself, 'What shall I do? For I have nowhere to store my crops.' And he said, 'I will do this. I will tear down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'Fool, this night your soul is required of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God.'" That's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to relax. We're not meant to store, try and preserve everything that's on this earth. As a Christian, you're meant to be able to give it to the next generation, to provide for the church. And I mean, when I say church, I mean the church as a whole, as a body. Because of reading Evangelpreneur, which I, again, highly recommend for everybody to read, and being in the Word every day, I have found the way I think about finances now on a daily basis. Now I say to myself, and this is something that, through personal growth and development, I have learned, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I deserve the cash flow and the recognition because God does not reward laziness. And that's my personal journey. So now I don't feel like I'm, being a bad person for selling the products that I sell and the services that I'm able to provide to clients, because I understand at the end of the day that if I'm doing it for the right reason, then I should be rewarded for those things. And I deserve whatever comes from it. And as long as I am able to steward it correctly, then God will bless me. Now, this is not prosperity gospel. I'm not suggesting that, hey, God's going to give me stuff because, I deserve it because I'm doing good. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is more along the lines of, you know what, I am still happy regardless of what happens, because again, my treasure is not here on this earth. But in the meantime, I get to provide and I get to help and I get to then take whatever God has blessed me with, whether that be the financial or the family. I get to steward those things and I have an opportunity. So everything that I have and everything I have received and will receive is a blessing. And that's truly the way I look at it. It's not complicated. For me, it's been a journey. It really has. It's been a struggle, and sometimes looking at a paycheck and receiving, but again, sometimes I still feel guilty receiving what some people make in 2 or 3 months I make in a month. That to me, or actually in a paycheck. So to me, that it's still sometimes difficult. But then I realized, God has also blessed me with the ability to be able to do that. And as long as I can steward that correctly, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to receive a little bit more. Now, again, if I don't, I'm okay, because he is definitely going to provide exactly what I need instead of what I want. And so I'm okay with that. If you found some value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for following Tommensense, and we're on our way to 500 subscribers. And then a new series is going to drop, so keep those likes and comments coming. Every time it seems that I read from the Word, or, well, this is the first time I actually read from the Word, but every time I mention the Word, okay, I get some feedback. I don't care if it's negative. Bring it on. That's good. We want to have a discussion here. Highly recommend for those struggling with personal finances and you're a Christian, pick up this book. It will change the way you think. And if it doesn't, comment down below. Let me know why, what you don't agree with. And yeah, Tommensense, because common sense isn't so common.